Welcome back to the Ingrid Norton channel. Today we're talking about getting internships on Capitol Hill. This doesn't apply to all my subscribership, but for those of you that it does apply to, I hope it helps. I got 2 internships in DC 2 different ways. Here is what I did. The first way was using a website called bradtraversejobs.com. I'll spell it for you. Here, wrote it down so I don't miss any juicy details here. It's spelled BRADTRAV as in Victor, ERSE, and then the word jobs.com. So bradtraversejobs.com. And this is a website that posts jobs in Capitol Hill offices. This is a website that posts internships, jobs in the DC metro area that are policy related. And they do have some jobs elsewhere outside of DC, but the majority are located in the DC metro area. Now, this website has like a $10, it's a legitimate website because I've used it before, so I know it's not like one of those weird things where you never get jobs from. It was very useful. There's a $10 fee to start out just for registering via the website. Then it's $6 per month. So for the first month, it will be $6. But because that $10 fee, it's $16 technically for the first month, and then every month after, it's $6. So really not expensive. It's affordable. And this website was so useful because there was a posting that said internship for a Kansas congressman. And it was Yoder at the time. Now he's not in office. He's, I think, retired since. But I remember seeing that and I'm like, I don't know, like, if I'll get it. I have no connections to Kansas. I have not gone to school in Kansas at any point. 0 connections literally to Kansas. But there was an internship opening. And so I applied. And it turns out that the person that they had given the internship to already had been there for like 2 months. And an internship's 4 months, right? A semester. And they had to go for family reasons, I think. And so they were left without an intern. I mean, every office has 2 if you're a U.S. rep. And so they only had 1 and were needing to fill the other spot. And so it was only 2 months long. And I'm like, that's fine because you can still put it on your resume. If you do it, even if it's a month, you can still put it on your resume. And so I did. And I got the internship though. And so after I was able to put it on the resume, but I would have never gotten that internship if I would have never applied. So rule number 1, apply, because you never know who the competition is. You might be the most qualified individual. And so if you are, then you're going to get it. And so don't self-doubt yourself. First point there. But the second thing, the second way I got an internship was I applied the regular way via the website of the congresswoman. And this was for Wyoming, Lummis at the time. She is now a senator, but at the time she was in the House of Representatives. And on the website of each representative, you can apply to be an intern. And so I applied that way, but I didn't hear back. And it was summer, and I was hoping to do it for the fall. Because I was off that semester. My university has like 2 semesters on, 1 semester off, and most students go fall, winter, but I was doing like the other 2 semesters instead. And so I'd fall off and I'm like, what am I going to do? I want to do an internship. Can I really get one? And I didn't hear back. And so I decided to send an email to the chief of staff, who is the highest person in the office besides the congressman or congresswoman in any office. So the chief of staff is like the head dog after them. And I sent the chief of staff an email saying, hey, my name's Ingrid. I really want to intern. I would love to contribute to your office. Let me know if you have any openings. I'd love to contribute, kind of thing. And I heard back within like, I think a day. And they hadn't filled the position. I'm like, wow, sweet. And so he invited me to come into the office for an interview. I was not living in the DC area, but he happened to be located in the home state of Wyoming versus DC. And a lot of chief of staffs are in DC, but not all of them. Some are in the home state of wherever the representative lives. And so my hometown at that time was Cheyenne, Wyoming, the capital. And so their office, they had an office in Cheyenne, so he was based out of there, and it worked out great. So I went in, I think 2 or 3 days later for an interview. And so I made sure I was like dressed up like as if I'm like a lawyer, right? Like the black blazer with the white tank top underneath with the pencil skirt that was black, right? Black heels. I was looking sharp, okay? Super, super sharp. And they, it actually was just, I wasn't even meeting with multiple people. It was just one. It was just his chief of staff. And we had a really good interview, and it just felt like a conversation. Like, it wasn't like me being stiff, like not wanting to put like a foot wrong. Like, I was just like myself and really kind and just genuine. And, he asked me questions, I had an answer, just really flowy. And it was great. And he offered me the internship, and I said, I would love to. That'd be so great. Thank you so much. And I showed my excitement for the internship in the fall. And so I was out in DC for the fall semester and found some roommates, and it was so fun. And there's a lot of people that have like roommates out there, so it's not going to be like really hard to find a place to live. I lived in Alexandria, Virginia, and then commuted in to DC, and I mean, it wasn't too terribly long of a ride. And then I just used that time to do whatever, write a book, like look up stuff, but just whatever. And so it was so fun. It was so fun. I was working on a novel at the time. That's why I say write a book. But anyway, the point is, you never know until you apply. So even though I got an internship, one way by applying via the website, the other one, I used the broadtraversejobs.com way. And honestly, I wonder now, like, as I think about this years later, like, maybe the reason I got the internship with the Wyoming office, like, was because I followed up. And that is huge. That's like a life skill, okay? Because you're going to use it way past college. You're going to follow up for, like, when you apply for jobs. So this applies for internships as well. Maybe the only reason they gave it to me was because I maybe was the only one that followed up, because there's no way I was the only person that applied for a political internship in DC at a U.S. congressman's office. Like, no way, right? You have competition, but maybe the only ones that win in the end are those that follow up, because it shows that you really do legitimately want that internship or that job or whatever, right? Tip 1, broadtraversejobs.com. Tip 2, reach out to the chief of staff for each congressman and senator. Now, I will say start with your home state first, because you probably have a really good shot at that. But let's say you're from, let's be honest, California or Texas, where you've got like high population, and there's going to be a lot of university students who are doing international studies or political science, and you may be one in like a bajillion applicants, right? Like, how are you going to stand out, right? So I would suggest, like, let's say if you're from California, like, let's be real, it might be a tight competition. So why don't you apply for the least populated states here in the US? So Alaska, Wyoming, I don't know what Rhode Island is, but I guess they're small. Well, I don't know. Population, yeah, they probably have low population too because they are small. But the point is, like, apply for those states where you're not going to have as much competition in theory, because let's say students are usually drawn to their home state senator or congressman, and some don't venture far and don't apply far to other offices. And so I would suggest going to the least populated states where you're going to have most likely few applicants compared to like California, New York, Texas, whatever, right? So start there. Now, your resume does have to be perfect. There's no spelling errors. There's no ain't, shoulda, would. Like, you gotta like command the presence in words. So say I achieved this amount of money in a business, or I saved, I scheduled, like, just like words that are more like, and maybe those aren't good examples, but like words that show you took charge rather than jobs that kind of happened to you. It's all about words and how you phrase things. So make sure your resume is like really sharp. But also, now, here's another thing. I didn't try this, but I would if I was in a situation and I was getting nowhere. Let's say I was not hearing any feedback and I was following up and I wasn't hearing anything, and you had some time. This is what I would try. I would literally go to Walmart, get some of the like snacks that are prepackaged. So like in the bakery, they've got like fresh cookies, fresh cupcakes. Get a thing of like 12. Go to the home office that's closest to you. Like, congressmen are going to have different offices throughout the state they represent. And so go to your closest one. That could be in your town, or that could be like 2 towns over. It would be worth it if you had time, right? Because if you want an internship tomorrow, this is probably not going to work. But if you have like, if you're like a semester away or 2 semesters away, 2 semesters away probably, then you have time to get your name in there. I would stop at the office, literally drop off cupcakes and be like, hey, I just appreciate everything that you're doing. I just thought I know it's kind of random, but I wanted to bring this thing of cupcakes over. Just thank you for what you're doing for our state. And then make sure you have like a sticky note on there saying from whatever your name is, right? And then they're going to be like, wow, so-and-so, and they'll remember your name because who brings cupcakes at random, right? They're going to be like, wow, like that person was really nice. And then even when you drop off, you can be, yeah, I'm a university student, but I just wanted to, I'm studying political science, let's say, if you really are. And I just really appreciate all you're doing. Then when it comes time for your internship time, whether that be at the end of your 4 years or whether that be, 2 semesters away or something, then they're going to be like, that was the dude or the woman that brought cupcakes. Like, they are so nice. Like, let's give them the internship. Even if they're so more qualified, like, they'll show you gratitude back because you like gave them a snack, like food, right? Like, I think any office would feel that way because they'll like favor you because you've shown like what a good person and like just how kind you are. So that is literally what I would do. No joke. Whatever it takes to get an internship, right? But this applies like even if you're not doing political internships, if you are like an IT major and you are hoping to do an internship with HP or Dell or IBM, Microsoft, right? Like, you can get your foot in the door by bringing snacks literally to the front office. And you gotta think about this. You gotta strategize. There is a way to get an internship. You just gotta put like that effort to searching for one. But I think you'll be successful in what you do. You just gotta have that motivation, and you'll never know until you apply. So don't doubt yourself. Don't give up on yourself before you even give yourself a shot. Really. You can definitely do this. All the best. Bye.